So guys, welcome to another video. Just a disclaimer. Go ahead and watch Dave99YT's live stream. It's really nice and it only took 30 minutes to record. And yeah, I just recommend you watching a stream for Dave99YT. And if you're watching, I really love your stream. Let's begin. So this video is gonna be all about this guy. The poor Archos 70 copper. Before I'm gonna tell the full story of this thing, I just want to tell you, there's a burn mark on here because I did a burn test on this display and it's absolutely horrendous because I'm gonna buy a new LCD for this thing at one point, but not when I'm 14 years old because it's kind of expensive, but they still sell a really nice IPS LCD display. Well, this is TN and it absolutely is sucky as hell. And we'll be investigating why this thing doesn't work. I'll be telling the specs, I'll be showing the charger, I will tell you how my dad got it, and all that. Let's begin. I will turn down the camera, and yes, you will see me. Can you guys see me? I'm not totally sure. I have to set up the camera a little bit. So, let's just say I was sitting on this chair with my computer, flashing the original firmware on this thing because I kind of bricked it again. And I had it laying on the computer. So what I did then is I got it on, I put it on here, let me just see. I put it on here, on the charger, because it was dead, and I wanted to turn it on, but then it slid out of my hands. Shabam! Flicked on the ground, perfectly on the flex cable with the back on it, thank God, and kabam! It fell on the ground. So I took it downstairs on a safer place, and it charged and the screen worked. But then it started failing on me, so I got upstairs again, I did something and it worked. I got downstairs again, and it started failing on me again, and then it was just dead. It was dead. Oh, my poor boy, what did I do to you? I will never drop you ever again. There is no physical damage anywhere. It is a really solid tablet, although it's fully plastic. This is absolutely, I mean, the whole back could have been like in a million pieces now. And if this screen wasn't made out of plastic, it would be totally obliterated. And I'm really happy they didn't use glass. Because look at this. Look at what happened to my other tablet. I was playing with my MemoPad 10 and I had to put on the back cover again. And I pushed a little too hard and now there's another hairline freaking crack in there. Look at that, that's horrendous. That poor MemoPad, this poor boy. I mean, I know this thing is like 3 times as expensive, so they will use glass, but man, even if it's not Gorilla Glass, please use plastic. Man, I mean, I'm not being bad to glass. I mean, my phone is made out of glass, and I'm really happy with that. Although it's ridiculously scratched up. I mean, my phone would have been so scratched up with plastic. I mean, even this glass, which is not Gorilla Glass, not holding up well. Anyways, before all that, I was using this thing in school because, in the school bus. Because I have to sit in the school bus two hours per day. And yeah, you probably, and I take quite a bit of phones with me. I take Galaxy J1 with me, which is the current replacer of it. And yeah, the last thing this thing was connected to my Google account was November of 2020. So yeah, before we're gonna get all onto that, I'll first show the specs and then how my dad got it. So it has a MediaTek MT83 6581 6581 or 83. I think 83 because it says that in the in the um, in the recovery, and a Dutch specs website also says that. All the other sites says it thinks all the other websites think it's a MT6585, but that's not true. It's the MT8183 or whatever, something with 83 and 81. It is surprisingly a dual core CPU, dual core running at 1.3 gigahertz, and it's a MediaTek CPU, which I don't mind. Cooling is really poor. It got really hot on this side, which is where the CPU sits. The speaker is broken, but that's my fault. And it has VGA cams both on the rear and the front. But I personally think the front-facing camera looks quite a bit better than this one. they're both ridiculously scratched up, and there's a tiny crack in that front-facing camera because I did that with my with the headphone jack of my headset a really long time ago. Yes, I cracked the camera lens with a headphone jack, but I will replace the touchscreen and the LCD. But it will take a few years, and maybe even the battery if that thing dies on me. But man, this thing is so good in terms of how it still works. The only thing that's broken is the display, so I will not be breaking this thing ever. I would rather wanna break my stupid Galaxy Tab E that is in perfect shape but doesn't do anything at all. It was also horrendous to take apart. This thing was really easy to take apart, which we'll do later. So yeah, it does have USB OTG, which might be a revival for us, but I highly doubt this thing has video output on the USB port, and I highly doubt USB OTG even supports video output through the USB port. I mean, I some really tiny amount of phones probably support that through the USB port, but I highly doubt it. I do still have the original charger, which I'll be showing now, which is this one. It is really nice, but it's not that safe because it makes a little tiny fire effect when you plug it in. It is retractable. I mean, I call it retractable. This is really nice. I might be taking this thing with me on a trip. I don't have any other things. Yes, I had one for a BlackBerry, but the main socket of that just cracked. So yeah, this is quite nice. I may be buying one of those, and I will keep this charger. I call it the universal charger, and it's quite nice. It's 5 volts, 2 amps. They didn't scamp on the charger here. But why does it say 0.65 amp max? I mean, I used this thing for my main tablet, which is a huge power sucker, and it works quite well. I mean, the cable's a little short, and it's really weird in terms of size, but it works. So I'll be putting this thing on the charger real quick, the original charger. Oh, I did not do the little fire-like effect. And we'll do a full backstory about this tablet while it's on the charger. Oh wow. Yeah, see those spots? We'll be talking about that later as well. Widescreen of death, I don't care. So, what happened to this tablet? Well, long story short, the software got bricked. We used this tablet a really long time ago, so from what I can remember, I'm not totally sure. We also got a Chinese tablet from my uncle before the hands, but I think it was a tablet that my dad got for his birthday. And what does that have to do with the copper? Well, that thing broke. And how? Well, I used that thing on my in my bedroom a little that evening. I got to sleep. I woke up again. It was like Sunday, Saturday. I don't know which day it was. It was in 2017, 2016. I'm not totally sure. It was after we got the MemoPad 10. I can still remember something with C Cleaner, that he used C Cleaner on one of the tablets. I think I always thought that the MemoPad 10 was the tablet where I have a memory from that I had to give the tablet to my father that he will use CCleaner on that thing. But no, because there was no CCleaner installed on the MemoPad 10, so no. I can't remember anything about the MemoPad 10, which does work though, although it's freaking cracked. I'll also replace that touchscreen though. Anyways, he got it. I think it was the one for his birthday or the Chinese one, but my mother wanted to take it downstairs again, and she had a oh shit, how do you translate that to English? I'm Dutch, okay? She had one of those boxes where she put clothing in, like a huge stack of clothing. She put that on there, and she put the tablet on like it was a huge stack of clothing in a box, and on she put the tablet on that clothing, and she was just walking off the stairs, and chabam, the tablet fell really hard off the stairs, and it fell all the way onto the doormat. And the last thing I can still remember that was it was totally cracked, and the only thing it once did was the LCD turned on, and then bam, it was dead. So we needed a new tablet, and my dad wanted to get a subscription for I think a new subscription, and you could win a free Archos 70 copper, and he got that one. So main things we got, it had, I think it was really outdated back then. The software was never updated. It was quite slow. I can still remember that I used it for YouTube, and the headphone jack broke, and it also broke my headphones, which ridiculously sucks. I think the line output of the headphone jack got broke, and that also broke my headphones, which really sucked. So I had to get new headphones. We got two pairs, which is good. We had a red one and an orange pair. I can still remember how they looked. Oh my god, the memories! They were so good headphones. I got a really sucky pair of Pulse headphones. No, Trust headphones. Ridiculously small Trust headphones. They were like this small driver, and they also broke like. They lasted quite a while, but I had to listen with one side. So yeah. Um, what we did, I had I played flip diving on it, and the touchscreen stopped working randomly because it needed bug fixes. It didn't do it when I resetted it and fully updated it. And like a year later or something, the battery life was also quite really bad. It still is. It is a 3000 milliamp hour battery, which is, I mean, that is small for a 7-inch screen. I thought it was just an okay tablet. But I played some flip diving on it and it kept on crashing. So yeah, I just watched some basic YouTube on it, and yeah, and it got bricked. I mean, soft brick. It started boot looping. I mean, if this thing didn't have a MediaTek processor, it would have been fully deaf. I couldn't revive it. So MediaTek, oh my god, I'm so happy that you made this processor. I mean, if MediaTek didn't exist, every single bricked phone on this planet was like absolutely bricked. And then it got hard bricked, and it was like that for like 2 freaking years. I made a video on it that it didn't work. It got a ton of dislikes. But yeah, it was bricked. I plugged it into the computer, and it says MediaTek VCOM USB port or whatever. And I was quite happy because I searched a ton of things up about the brickage, about how it was hard bricked, and I couldn't believe my eyes that this thing still could be revived because of one brand, MediaTek. Absolutely, buy MediaTek phones, they're the best. If they die, you can revive them, unless your whole motherboard is fucked up. Anyways, so I revived it using a Archos 90 copper ROM, which is a bigger, more expensive tablet, and I couldn't find anything other than that. And I thought, I highly doubt it works. So I flashed it and put it on the charger, and I couldn't believe my eyes. The first thing I saw was a white screen, and the screen cable was already kind of effed up on it, but you had to press the screen cable so it worked, and I fixed that later by making the back cover a little less tight, because the back cover was the main thing that made it so cable so tight that it didn't make proper contact and you didn't see image on the screen. So I finally got two Arco 70 copper ROMs. I now have one still on my computer. I flashed that and I couldn't believe my eyes. It fully worked. I was ridiculously happy that it finally worked. I put apps on there. I used it in the school bus and then it just broke. So yeah, that is the full story. It's still on the charger and it still doesn't work. And yeah, that. I mean, I wouldn't really mind to those spots if this thing would still work. So let's get on to the tablet. Now that I've told you how this thing was made and why. So we'll just take it apart. I took it apart a lot of times, so we'll just focus as well. There we go. It's really easy now. It's like a back cover from a phone or something, but it isn't ridiculously loose. It isn't like it's gonna fall apart or something. But it also isn't as hard as the back cover on the Asus. Reveal the reveal the treasures. There we go. Very basic insights, and this is our main suspect. This. See that little thing on there? Yeah, that was already on there. Poor thing. Anyways, this is where the main CPU lays. This is, I think, the GPU. I'm not totally sure. This is, I think, the touchscreen ribbon that you see right here. SIM card slot, and yes, you can call with this thing, which means app support is way better than on tablets. I mean, tablets have porous app support, but come on, man, Android tablets are better than stupid iPads. Come on. And if not, go to another planet. It has a micro yes, also micro USB, which is OTG compliant, and it has a micro SD card slot, which is, yeah, that's a micro SD card slot. I think the ribbon for the horrendous camera, I think this is a TCL battery, a 3000 milliamp hour battery instead of a 2800, as they said in the reviews of this device. The crappy connector for the battery, which I thought when I took this thing apart for the first time, I thought the battery was the issue, which is very, very common. I mean, if I didn't know about anything about phones, I would also think the battery was broken. And I thought, hey, if I'm 20 years old, I'll buy a new battery for this thing. Nope, it was just bricked. Oh my god. And it's also really, really tight on this place, but I will not take off this plate, and I can't take off this plate, because then we'll have to fully take it apart, which I will never do probably. You have to unplug the battery. No, you don't have to unplug the battery, but you do have to take off all the tape. You have to you get the battery out of there. You have to get the whole motherboard out of there, which isn't that big. You have this huge space, and the LCD that is broken is just under here. This is the whole LCD, and yeah, that's basically it. 11 watt hour battery, by the way, which is not that much. I mean, that's twice as powerful as a Nokia battery. So yeah, random ribbon cable that might be for touchscreen. I'm not totally sure. But anything on it perfectly works. I mean, it's just a screen cable that is totally fucked up. I mean, it's not this thing as well. I took this thing out. I mean, I tried that, but I don't know how to get this cable off though. Let me tell you. Tell me in the comments. I mean, it's all the way under this stupid motherboard, which may mean the connector is under the motherboard. But yeah, we'll plug this thing in without the casing, with the original charger. Battery charges up very slowly, and it lasts about 2 hours. I mean, it should be 3 hours. Yes, those lines that you see on the screen, those really faint lines, represents the battery charging icon. I mean, those spots aren't as that seeable. Yeah, yeah, I can definitely see that that is a huge battery icon. So yeah, everything is a stripe, basically. And yes, I can still see that the battery is low if you turn it on. Let's just turn it on. But text is absolutely invisible, which is super annoying. And yeah, touchscreen does still work though. There's nothing wrong with the touch. And yeah, it's totally fricked up. It just doesn't want to live anymore. And as I said, this is the LCD, which is our main suspect, which you have to get off. It's also making a super, super slight hissing noise, and the thermal is absolutely horrendous. I mean, it's already getting a little warm. Oh, and if you want to see the speaker, if the speaker wants to get out, oh my god, yeah, the speaker is totally fucked up. I mean, we could do a blow up on this thing when I will get an amplifier, but yeah, both wires are fricked up. That was already there. That just, oh man, who cares about speaker? You can always connect Bluetooth to this thing. So yeah, that's our tiny little speaker right there. I will keep it in just for aesthetic purposes. Rechargeable lithium-ion battery. I mean, this is quite a good made battery. Oh yeah, it's definitely warming up. What is Forest C? What kind of brand is that? Oh, oh, you see that? Oh, oh my gosh. Oh, it's wanting to live, my friends, but it can't. Oh, oh. I mean, if we can even get a little bit of life out of here. I mean, I charged it just for the reason to think that it may just give a little bit more power to that LCD, so it may just work for a little bit. You can see the, oh no, you can't see that because my hand is in the way. You sometimes can see the Android, yeah, that little thing, the little navigation thing. Yeah, the screen. I mean, you could navigate on it a little bit. I mean, tell me in the comments how I can use this as a computer and just connect it to my computer, and this is just my second computer then, because I don't care, man. Rather want to go the freeway than just not doing it. Okay, let's just adjust the volume and see what it does then. Oh, this thing. It's so poor. But yeah, anyways, guys, that is the full story of the Archos 70 Copper. This thing is dead. and I'll be trying to repair it someday. See you later.